Uncertain, but still relevant. That's how correspondent journalist George Grills from the British newspaper The Times assesses the current situation. The meeting planned in the coming days between the Secretaries of State of the United Kingdom and the United States will be closely monitored.
Jonathan Powell met with his US counterpart last week, and the Chagos deal was raised during the meeting. Given the fact that it was on the table of discussions, is it a good sign that we are moving towards sealing a deal?
I think it remains a little bit unclear. So the Americans are still reviewing what has happened. It's worth saying that the person that Jonathan Powell was meeting, his US counterpart, Mike Waltz, has previously been very critical of the deal. So we're still at this stage where we're not entirely sure where the Trump administration is going to land on this. And it's worth saying as well that in the US, this is just one issue along with lots of other priorities that they have to consider. For example, the war in Ukraine, what's happening in the Middle East. So it's perhaps not at the top of their list of things they're considering, but they're definitely looking at it.
On the 24th of January, Donald Trump himself, he said that it's not on top of his list. But when you see that now the UK Foreign Secretary David Lammy is expected to meet Donald Trump's Secretary of State to convince the US to back the Chagos Islands deal. So maybe things are going to move in the right direction.
I genuinely think we're in a waiting phase at the moment. The Trump administration obviously has a lot on its plate. They are looking at it clearly, but I wouldn't say that it's top of the list necessarily, given all the other kind of events happening around the world. But it's, they haven't rejected it straight away, which is a good sign, given that, for example, Marco Rubio, who is now the Secretary of State, but has previously been critical of the deal. So has Mike Waltz, who's the new National Security Advisor. And, wherever they land, the UK will follow. So if they do outright reject this deal, then it's very unlikely that the Brits will follow through.
What do you think may be the concerns of the US side?
I mean, the concerns are around the operations of the military base on Diego Garcia. They want to maintain that vital strategic asset in the middle of the Indian Ocean, and they want any deal to make sure that that's still effective. And as Marco Rubio and Mike Waltz have both pointed out in the past, they're concerned about the economic ties between Mauritius and China. And they see this as an important bastion of kind of Western resistance against Chinese influence in the Indian Ocean. And that's why they want to maintain US access to the base, US operations to the base. And any deal they see that compromises that even slightly, it's not going to happen.
But Starmer has already underlined that the need for a deal to secure the military base on Diego Garcia that ensures strong protections, which already dispels concerns of spying from other countries, including China.
That's his view, certainly, yeah. But I'm not entirely sure that that's the view that will be shared in the US. Bear in mind, this is a very hawkish US administration when it comes to China. They've already imposed tariffs on China. They see China as the US's main geopolitical rival, and regardless of Mauritius's ties to India, they're very skeptical about, for example, Chinese investment in the airport in Port Louis and other kind of economic links between Mauritius and China. So any small suggestion even that there's some sort of friendly relations with Beijing is viewed pretty skeptically by the Americans.
In the House of Commons last Wednesday, Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer affirmed that the agreement between Mauritius and the United Kingdom involved a question of national security and legal certainty, leading to the confirmation of the stand taken by the United Kingdom on the Chagos Treaty with Mauritius. Jonathan Powell, the United Kingdom's national security advisor, met his American counterpart Mike Waltz last week, but little transpired from this meeting. According to the Financial Times, the Trump administration is still reviewing the agreement.